Hello, people of the internet. My name is Henry Danish, and this is Red Cube Everything, the very last match of the regular season. Heavy Force going up against Hydra. Well, if you joined me about 10 minutes ago, you've kind of already gotten my entire pre-game analysis and then some of not only this game, but also the playoffs. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that. But now we are finally here for the official game and the official last game of any RCR6 regular season, because if you do not know, there is not going to be a season 3. But coming into this matchup, I have said this earlier today, and I'm going to reiterate that fact once again. I don't think a lot of people know this, but this game for Hydra is so extremely important. If Hydra lose, they are out of the playoffs. They were once number 2 in the league, and they find themselves in a position where it is win or go home, and it's not even playoffs yet. They need this game more than anything. As I already see the hashtag continue RCR6 chats coming out into the custom game. So that's going to be interesting to see if we see that during the entire matchup. But for a moment, obviously, if you guys have tuned in earlier on, as wow, my hair is messed up, and I apologize for that. That is just gross to look at. But if you guys saw it earlier, as you guys can see, we are going to be playing on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is 100% my favorite map to cast. The reason that is, it is aggressive play, it is entertaining play, and you tend to see some spawn peaks, you tend to see some runouts. Very, very fun map. And a lot of people don't really like it because it is so defender-sided, and it is actually the most defender-sided besides Villa. Villa, I think, is 60-40, and I think Clubhouse finds its place around the 58-42 mark. So very, very one-sided, but it is still nonetheless one of the most entertaining, as I'm going to let these guys know that they don't switch, because we already have that covered. So sometimes don't worry about it. That is completely unrelated. You guys don't need to listen to that. But we are going to be getting in here very, very shortly. We are waiting on a couple more players and a couple more things to come into the mix. And as we're waiting for that, let's take a look at these standings. Obviously, these standings are extremely important, not only for this entire season as it's coming to a close, but also what we're going to be seeing in this game specifically today. As if, like I said, if we see Hydra lose, they are going to be kicked out of that top 8 spot. And the reason that is you're probably wondering, but they're in 6th. That's pretty comfortable position, especially with one game. The reason that is because with the best of ones introduced, it has allowed for games to become a lot more fluid and the standings to move a lot more. So Hydra being in that 6th position could easily change at the blink of an eye, because Relentless unfortunately have forfeited the league, so they get moved down, pushing Dirty Birds up. If Hydra lose, puts Hydra in 8th place, and if Digital Dynasty won, which they did, that will put them in 8th, and we would see Hydra drop down to 9th, pushing everybody else one notch lower. So there's a lot of movement there, but that's what's just going to happen if Hydra lose this. As we are going to be seeing all the players I think are ready, and I think everything is good to go, as I'm going to just 100% make sure that everyone is good to go. As one time I did start it and nobody was there, and I had to delay the matchup, and we should not see that again. But let's sit back, let's relax. This is the last season of RCR6. This is the last regular season match of RCR6. Let's have some fun on Clubhouse. Never mind, it looks like one player is not ready, as I think they need to set their moss up. So gives us a little bit more time to talk about this, as never mind, he is ready now, and now I will see you guys on Clubhouse. So let's have some fun on Clubhouse Part 2. Ladies and gentlemen, straight into the ban phase here. I'm expecting pretty typical bans just because of how important this matchup is. Sometimes in matchups like you saw that last match, not a lot at stake, still a very entertaining one, but not a lot at stake there. We saw the Ash ban come out as We see Ali giving a nice little shout out there. To whoever Jay is, I guess he doesn't lose. I might be thinking J90 if I think we're talking about J90, and yes, that man, he certainly does not lose. Glass coming off the board, very typical, especially on Clubhouse. I should see a Maverick here. Maverick is almost incounterable on this map of Clubhouse. If he somehow finds his way through this ban phase, that attack is going to be so dangerous. Yes, Clubhouse is defender-sided, but once you bring that Maverick into the picture, it kind of evens the tail of the tape just a little bit. So maybe a Maverick, maybe a Monty. I'm definitely going to be expecting the Maverick ban here. Sometimes Monty is so dangerous on Clubhouse, but not a lot of teams play it, and just like that, Maverick off the board. Very smart ban. I think the reason we saw it actually take so long and the countdown reach its final pitch was certainly due to the fact that maybe they were thinking of trying to get rid of that Monty. But on to defense, most likely an Intel operator off of the board, an Echo Maestro or a Mira. Most likely going to see that, as it's probably going to be a typical ban just like that. Mira comes off the board, and it seems like I've seen this before, and it looks like I kind of know what I'm talking about as Mira comes off. Maybe a Maestro, maybe an Echo. Let's see if I get it right once again. Echo off the board. I think that was 3 for 3. I'm very proud of that. We are going to be pushing into the matchup right now. And on Clubhouse, I'm going to kind of reiterate this a lot here for the new viewers that tune in. It's defender-sided, but it also is so fun to watch teams go head-to-head on this map. What you typically see is Intel operators are extremely dangerous on this map. So the likes of Valkyrie, the likes of Maestro, the likes of Echo and Mira obviously being banned, no matter the intel, no matter how you get the intel, they are dangerous. As that's almost like it on every single map, but on Clubhouse it's even worse, as there's so many flanks, there's so many runouts. As we did see that Lesion get picked at the last second there, I'm most likely seeing a Lesion 6 pick onto that Valkyrie. Like I said, intel is valuable, especially on this map, and we are going to be seeing Geo picking that Monty. Like we said, he's going to be 6 picking off of it onto most likely as Castle going to be getting chosen here from the smoke. That is very interesting. And Zofia, lots of utility there. I think it's a smart 6th pick, as we saw last game. The Monty play, it's just not really there right now. I think if your team's not a Monty team, then don't try to play Monty. You take away a gun from the lineup, and that's not necessarily something you always want to do, as Heavy Force already throwing a curveball at us right at the get-go, going to Gym Bedroom, as this is definitely a secondary bomb site on this Clubhouse map that has so many good bomb sites. This is definitely not one you would put on your list as being the top choice. Most of the time you see downstairs Old Reliable, or now the most favorite, Cash Room. But I'm typically going to see, especially from this hold, a lot of Cash Room control. Most likely going to reinforce these walls. Just try to get as much going in Cash Room as possible to slow down a construction side push. And sometimes investing the bandits, like you see right here, onto that porch hot tub area wall will help slow that down the attack as well. The kind of telltale sign of what type of defensive hold is going to be what type of push we're going to see. Is it going to be a construction sided, or is it going to be hot tub sided? And by the looks of it, it looks like we're going to see a construction, maybe a logistics drop side, as it looks like a lot of the players on this Hydra's team have gone onto the have spawned from the east side. And it looks like Bean is actually going to be going right to the logistics office. Going to be opening it up, and Bean is one of the players I'm extremely close with, and I'm very happy that we're actually going to be seeing him play. He has been on that sub role for this Hydra team for quite some time, and due to the fact Seven is unfortunately not playing, Bean's moment to shine is right now. So it looks like he's trying to get some intel to try to maybe drop into logistics, as a lot of the players here for this defensive team are completely put on the site. The only operators off site is going to be that Lesion, which is kind of an offsite anchor, and the Jaeger, the only deep roamer here. Jaeger obviously just holding downstairs and strip is a really nice position to make sure no attackers are going for maybe a flank style of an attack by themselves, but he's most likely not going to get a lot of action. That's exactly why you see him rotating here, as the Zofia charges are going to pick off one, but they are not going to land enough, as QHF, I think his name is just Q, is able to get a nice kill onto Geo and taking down the Zofia, allowing a lot of utility to get completely wiped off the board. But Hitman is going to be able to open up that hot tub wall. Could potentially push on, sees the Castle, but Castle is actually going to be on the winning end. That gunfight continues to peak. What is he doing? Hitman loses that gunfight out. Gavin's going to be last alive. Ali is the only one left, and it's up to the Bean now of the sub player for Hydra to bring this one back. An aggressive play here from this heavy force team as just completely decimating that attack in a matter of seconds, as Bean, last one alive, is going to see one, is able to land the shot, is not going to see the Maestro sitting there in cash. Unfortunately going to get zapped by the Bandit charge. Maestro could potentially come around that corner. Is Bandit? No, Bandit is not down. He literally has a sliver of health. Is going to see the backpack of the Maestro. Unfortunately, that is not his hitbox, as a peek is going to be coming out from the Maestro, and it is going to land. Doggo able to take down Bean, shuts down the Hydra attack, and that round completely left on Bean's shoulders. Unfortunately, not much he could do, as just the entire push from this Hydra side was shut down immediately. One kill after another, as really aggressive play from Heavy Force. That Castle seemed like he had an endless mag going for that peak on the Hibana, and unfortunately, because it is Hibana, only 21 rounds in that magazine, forces you to reload quite frequently. I think that was definitely the telltale sign of the downfall for Hydra in that round. But we are going to be wow, I just saw the Twitch comments about Heavy Force. That is interesting. But we are going to be going into the second round here after a very convincing first round from Heavy Force, going down to Church Arsenal. They're saving that cash room site. Sometimes you tend to see this. Obviously, winning that secondary bomb site first, it opens the door for much more reliable sites later on in the half. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. They won Gym Bedroom, so now they can go to Church Arsenal a lot more frequently. And it's definitely going to be very helpful for this defensive team, as Church Arsenal as well as Cash Room are super favored in the defensive side of things. Most of the time on this Church Arsenal hold, you expect to see almost everyone focused on the site, maybe one roamer. I would call that basically a 25% roam, as just maybe you'll see, I would call it a 30% roam, because maybe very rarely you'll see two players go off, but most of the time if you do see two players go off, one of them is an off-site anchor, as maybe the Legion plane would potentially play in kitchen, but not most likely. You mostly see just one roamer, and then everybody else on site downstairs, as the site downstairs is extremely big, or maybe just someone playing in blue. So everybody will most likely be focused on this basement side, maybe with one roamer in the mix. If we do see Jaeger Pixelated obviously being on Chromonite at the beginning of the season has been quite the name around the block, featured in a couple Shroud videos, actually being able to kill Shroud, so that's something very interesting. This Hitman is actually going to drone him out and strip. It's going to force him to rotate back to site, most likely, or maybe find his way into bar. But it looks like he's actually going to be playing this aggressively. Tries to go for a little bit of a peek there, trying to get lucky. Unfortunately, luck is not on his side there. He's not going to be able to be getting any frags that early on. We see Smoke here. The reason why he's doing that is getting ready for an impact trick, just in case they try to go for that kitchen hatch. But it looks as if the attack might just push down these main stairs. It's definitely interesting. Clearing out the top floor completely. This is taking a while, as nobody has gotten into the building, but it does not matter, as Geo finally does get into the building and takes Pixelated out. There's going to be your Jaeger off the board, your one roamer off of the board at the 2-minute mark. Shooting that jukebox, making sure that he can hear exactly everything that's going on, is going to be Gavin, as now the entire attacking side has concentrated onto this first floor. Everybody has brought down Ali, going to be going to this blue side, actually just going to be placing the Claymore, making sure that his flank is covered, as Hitman was about to shoot the camera with his Abandon charges. That would have been interesting. We are going to be seeing almost the entire attacking side here. There's a frag grenade, unfortunately going to be eaten up by that ADS, is not going to land, but entire attacking side here now trying to prepare for that execution. There is no hard breacher, my fault. There is a hard breacher that is going to be Hibana, but Hibana investing her Hibana charges not on the kitchen hatch, rather on this Stockroom blue hatch, as Q is able to get a huge kill onto Geo. That's going to be another one down, as Gavin goes down, as Doggos with that Maestro LMG with just so many bullets is able to tear through the Buck, but it is going to be Bean there with the trade immediately taking down Q, so that's going to be the Smoke off the board, and that is a major utility, especially coming to the later half of this round where the execution is inevitable. You're going to be seeing a nice kill from Holly as he smells the flank coming and is able to sniff it out and read it out and also land the shot onto Shavkin, as I think that's what he wants me to call him. As now we see Ali slowly pushing in with the help of his teammates, as Hitman could potentially go for the plant here as nobody is in that site. It looks like he has gotten that call out. He's just going to be slowly eking in. He does hear the Maestro. Actually, that was my fault. Maestro is going to be sitting behind that bar area. Going to be going for the peek, but Bean with a nice pinch. And just like that, it's going to be all up to the Legion. Minty, though, able to get a kill on the Hydra. Bean, the substitute, definitely making his presence known. 5 kills for him already. Single-handedly carrying his team right now. Getting a nice little kill there at the end. Making sure Hydra don't go out of this match because it is just so important. But something to note is Heavy Force, they are an extremely new orc. They have just came into the I apologize, my fault. They have just came into the league, and they were used to be known as Complete Chaos, and they are 100% the dark horse of the league. They, unfortunately, if they win here, they still don't make playoffs. Their kind of main objective here is to try to knock Hydra out. And maybe, potentially, if 2 teams forfeit, we could see Heavy Force in the playoffs. But the chances are extremely slim right now for Heavy Force. But their main objective here is to just play their best, play strong under the new org, and get their first win in RCR6 under the new org. But the same kind of goes for Hydra. Hydra obviously had that org change from Viper to Hydra in week 7, and ever since that org change, they've had some very unfortunate luck. They've been playing a little bit weaker, if I think that's the best word for it, because yes, they've been getting wins here and there and round wins here and there, but they've gone negative considerably ever since the best of 1 change. They've only won 1 match since week number 6, and that pushed them out of the 2nd place spot down to the 6th place spot, and also down to a spot where if they lose today, they're out of playoffs. So they have not looked good at all. They have won a couple ESA matches here and there. They've definitely performed a lot better when there's a lot more maps at stake, which then you have to start questioning playoffs. They're best of 3, and they're also a lot more pressure on other teams. Is that when Hydra starts to look like their old selves again? Is that when they kind of get back into their comfort zone? That is definitely going to be the question, but the first thing they have to do here is win this best of 1 on Clubhouse. I don't know if you guys remember it or if you guys even tuned into the first matchup, but something I said was Hydra is one of the most dangerous teams on typical maps. And the most typical maps right now in RCR6, not Pro League, RCR6, is Clubhouse, Coastline, and Border. And the most dangerous maps for Hydra that you should not take them to is going to be Clubhouse, Coastline, and Border. And what do we see here? We are going to be seeing Hydra onto this Clubhouse map, and that really is a huge advantage for them. Hydra is really good at this map, and they have definitely proved themselves on this map. As actually I was watching VODs before this, when the map is one of those 3, they have won, I think it was around 87%, or a very high number. It was greater than 70% they have won. So they definitely have the odds in their favor based on stats. But like I say all the time, as Pixelated gets a kill onto Ali, that's going to be the Thermite down. That's a huge kill. Your only hard breacher, actually my fault, Hitman still playing that Habana. So we still have that hard breacher, but Pixelated able to get another kill, and that's just that ACOG is so deadly. Finally able to get a kill, but it's going to be immediately traded out by the Jaeger there as Hitman takes down the Pixelated and the super scary Doc sitting in that corner, but does not really matter as that's not a lot of utility off the board. We see both your hard breachers as well as your fragger just completely taken off. But what I was saying was, due to the fact we are going to be seeing this map on Clubhouse, as well as the fact that, actually I forgot what what my point was, as I was really interrupted by a flurry of kills by Pixelated, so I'm just going to ignore that point and continue casting from where we are at. So Geo just taking that Legion mine out. That's going to give his intel away. It's going to be all up to Bean once again. Bean has been put in these positions here where 2vXs or 1vXs where there's not really much he can do. There's a lot of impactless frags that he could get, but most of the time you're going to be on the losing end of most of this, as those holes, they do work both ways, as Bean is going to be down and unfortunately not going to be picked up, as Geo looks like he's just going to be pushing in and forgetting about Bean entirely, and he says, you know what, maybe it's my time to try and get this clutch. He's going to hear the Legion might get pushed down. Unfortunately, not able to land the shots, and just like that, Q is able to get a huge frag onto Geo, as well as actually the down kill onto Bean. And Hydra in a matchup that is so important. Again, not looking like themselves. One thing that is very interesting with just the way Hydra has been playing is at the beginning of the season, they were very aggressive. They had a rank star mentality, I think, as a lot of people actually, there was actually a stream of one of the players playing against them. He was talking about how these guys are so rank star, they're so aggressive, it's so hard to play against. And ever since the best of one change, or maybe even a little bit before that, a lot of people have just countered it fairly easily. There's been just so much that obviously has changed with the game over this period of the season that the rank star strats, they really don't work. We saw it today, Born versus Moral. In the beginning, when Born tried to use the rank strats and Moral wasn't expecting it, yes, it worked. But the moment Moral said, okay, they're playing aggressive, we can shut this down, that's exactly what happened. They got shut down. And if I'm Hydra right now, coming into this game, I gotta close the pages because they're an open book. They have had kind of the same style of play for this entire season, and they haven't adapted very well, and that's their biggest problem. They need to start changing things up. They need to maybe pull out some strats we haven't seen before, because this aggressive style or this super slow style that they're trying to go for is just not them. They don't look comfortable. Things just do not look correct. Maybe we could see the famous NA roster swaps come out before playoffs, if they make playoffs, that is. But there's just something's not clicking for this Hydra team, and I know it's only 2-1. I know they're only down one. They're only down one round, and it's also Clubhouse where defense is so much more favored. But it's come to a point where they've been losing. They've been on the losing end in so many rounds and so many gunfights. Even before this, you'd expect them to change by now, and it still seems like there's something not quite clicking yet. As Pixelate is going to take some damage from his fellow teammate of the Jaeger, just making sure the Doc pistol works, giving him a nice little test. As looks like Heavy Force is actually the more aggressive team so far. So I kind of take back what I said with... Obviously, I didn't say they were playing aggressive today, but before this, we saw aggressive style of play from Hydra, and they've kind of changed that, but they haven't changed it enough. Whereas now Heavy Force, they're playing probably the most aggressive style of play we've seen in the league so far. I think there's a lot of teams that have tried to be as aggressive as Heavy Force, but Heavy Force kind of taking it to a whole nother level, peeking everything, just continuing to peek angles that maybe you shouldn't really peek. As Pixelated, able to get a huge kill onto Gavin. It's going to be the buck off the board. Your one soft destructor, and also your only frag grenades taken off quite immediately. As again, we all know Pixelated, he likes to over peek things, but when he's winning those gunfights, can't blame him. Unfortunately, when he was on Chroma Knight, he didn't win those gunfights as much, and he came out under a lot of scrutiny, but he's definitely perfected his craft, and him peeking those angles have proven to be something that, again, Hitman going down to Pixelated once again, it's something that just this Hydra team can't quite get a hold of, as the diffuser is also going to be down. Geo finally, though, able to get a kill onto Shavkin. Q, though, is able to get a trade right into Ali. Geo able to get a kill onto Pixelated, though, bringing it down to a 3v2. So Geo and Bean, once again, the last operators alive, is able to get the down onto Maestro. It's going to be Maestro down 2 versus 2. And Bean and Geo, once again, stuck in a position where they kind of have to do the dirty work for their team, as people, the entire Hydra side is just going down very, very early. Yes, there's only a minute left, but you have zero utility. Yes, you have the Jackal charges, but you have a Blackbeard with a shield over his face, and you have a Jackal who can track roamers. But this late in the round, there's most likely not going to be a very deep roam presence. So the operator right now, it's not looking good, as check the VAC as being so close to getting that. Unfortunately, he just does not look at the hole he made, as it was right under the bandit. That would have been a huge kill, just being able to get that advantage for his team, as the smoke is going to be coming out. That is one more smoke canister left here for Q. He's just going to be sitting on top of these stairs, and with 20 seconds left, that is definitely going to burn a lot of time, as it's going to be the Blackbeard just sitting here. He's just slowly trying to push up, but the cough could easily give his position away. Remember, there aren't points, so you can't know if someone is walking in that smoke. Geo is just going to be going for it, and Q just proned at the top of the stairs. And if I'm Hydra, I'm mad. I would be extremely mad right now, and the reason why I say that is due to the fact, let me say this. every player in ranked and in competitive play, let's say competitive play, when you die to kind of an unprecedented spot, such as prone on top of the stairs, you get angry and you think, why would they, as we see Cab and Tachanka, okay, that was close. No matter what, one of them would have had to have been played, but we are going to most likely see the 6 pick here, as Pixelated definitely getting a little cocky and definitely showing it with that Tachanka pick. Is he going to 6 pick? It looks like he is. He has not confirmed it yet. He's probably arguing with his team right now. I wonder. Wow. Wow.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Okay. Pixelated is going to be running Tachanka. That is an interesting choice, as forget entirely about the point I was talking about. Pixelated showing his confidence, choosing Tachanka. And don't get me wrong, it's been over peaking. There's been a lot of aggressive play from Heavy Force, but the problem is Hydra haven't countered it. So if it's not broken, then why fix it? If Heavy Force is playing extremely good by over peaking, or they're playing extremely good by playing aggressive against Hydra, why would they ever think of changing it? So don't think that I assume and I think that the way Heavy Force is playing is stupid and it's not good, because it's really good. They're winning rounds. It's just very unprecedented and it's very aggressive, and it's just simple as that. As you've seen Pixelated playing this Tachanka and also playing other operators such as Doc. He's peaked everything, but he's won every gunfight. There's been a lack of intel on the attacker's side, and that's just led to easy kills for the defense. So yes, we can point fingers at Heavy Force and say, oh, they're rank stars, oh, they're playing so aggressive, oh, blah, 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 blah. The problem is Hydra haven't countered them yet. The problem is not the style of play, as finally we see Pixelated go down early on. Unfortunately, it's going to be, oh, actually so close to able to get that kill. Tachanka, unfortunately, not able to get a Mimi kill. But we're going to see Ali get picked back up, and finally it is going to be countered. But basically what I'm saying is, you can yell at this Heavy Force team all you want, but if it's working, it's working. It's as simple as that. As you're going to be seeing the drones come out, definitely slowing things down as this Hydra side is being able to get a kill onto Doggo. That's going to be the Maestro down. Not going to be able to use those cams. That's a lot of intel off of the board, so that's a nice kill from Bean. But another thing to check and another thing to look at is the fact we have seen almost identical lineups and identical operator choices for this Hydra side. There's been a very lack of adaptation, as that's just unfortunate timing. That is Siege for you. Peeking through the drone hole is Minty. Is able to get a kill onto the Thermite, the only hard breacher in this attack, not bringing the Habana for the very first time. But other than that, the operator lineup is exactly the same, if I'm not mistaken. But Hitman going down, trying to place his Claymore, is going to be on the losing end of that, the receiving end, rather, of that extremely strong MP7 gun. Bandit getting a nice kill onto that one hard breacher. But with time ticking down, the execution is now inevitable, and everybody has been forced back into sight and are in uncomfortable positions. And the best time to push the defense is when they're kind of stuck in this rotate and they can't really get control back of sight, as Q looks like he's kind of trapped himself out. He's going to be prepping this castle barricade though, but immediate trades as Shavkin gets beamed, but Gavin right there with him, making it back to a 3 versus 2, and the difference still being 1. 44 seconds left here, as Q has completely prepped the entire window. As how does he win that? Gonna be peeking again. Oh my goodness, that's diffuser down. Oh my, Q 1, 2, 3, an absolute monster with that UMP. Do not peek him. Absolutely insane gunplay from Q, and I did not even mean to rhyme that there, but that was perfect from Q. The odds stacked against that Heavy Force team in that round, and Q said, let me take over. UMP goes absolutely insane on every single one of the Hydra players. That's Q getting a 3K, and an extremely important 3K at the end of the round there. Very, very strong play from him. As let's take a moment and say 1, 2, 3, Q with the UMP. That was, oh my goodness, that was good. As we are going to be seeing 4-1 now. Already securing the half is this Heavy Force side, as Heavy Force is looking dangerous. They are looking scary, as this is rough. This is definitely not the position you want to see this Hydra team in, as everything that possibly could go wrong has gone wrong. As you're going to be seeing here, 11 kills there for Q. He has been absolutely nuclear this game, completely carrying this Heavy Force. Actually, I wouldn't even want to say carrying, as everybody on Heavy Force has gotten extremely strong plays and been very, very, I guess, difficult to deal with, I think is the best word for this Heavy Force team, as they've just been in the face of Hydra this entire time. So we're going to be seeing basically the exact same play here from these. It's almost the exact same hold from the Heavy Force players sitting here on these backstairs, as Doggo is actually going to be the one playing the dock, as Pixelated has decided to move onto the Cav, which is quite interesting. He's just going to be sitting here as, what are you doing, Pixelated? That's why aggressive play doesn't work. That's the one instance why aggressive play doesn't work, is Pixelated just sprints into the crosshairs of the Hydra players, and that's unfortunate, as Q making sure that we know that he is a very happy man after that nice little clutch he had. Just like that, finishing off the eye, making sure it's nice and pretty. As you can definitely start to see the tension rising between these players. I think a little bit of a aggressive behavior here, as there's that LOL coming out and just kind of the lamaus in the chat. Definitely some tension, maybe a little bit of a rivalry brewing, but unfortunately, because it's the last regular season, we will not see these players go at it again, as Gio, though, was able to get a huge kill on the Shavkin. That's going to be the Jaeger off the board. My fault. That is going to be the Alibi off the board. Interesting pick there as well, as the one thing you don't want to see here from Heavy Force is them to get a little bit too comfortable, because if we start to see this Heavy Force team start thinking, oh, we're going to just start running away with this and let their foot off the gas, that's immediately when you'll see Hydra say, all right, let's just take this game right back. So I think it's kind of what we saw here. Alibi and Cav off the board, those are two operators that you don't pick in competitive play. Alibi maybe sometimes, as Alibi has been utilized lately in Pro League as a really efficient site operator, but Cav, not one bit. We've seen it twice in the US Nationals and once in the Pro League setting by Jonas. So it's not a viable play, as shots are going to be raining down into the kitchen there from Bean. Unfortunately, none of which are going to land. Is going to be able to get the tag once more, as none of those shots are going to be landing so close to hitting the mark, but just a little bit too far away. Dog is going to be going down, though, as Ali is going to be getting a nice kill onto the dock, and that's going to be the ACOG off the board. It's going to be up to the Bandit now, with his extremely powerful gun, and also the smoke with his extremely powerful utility to try to take this round back. Down operator there of Ali, most likely is going to be taken out, as Bean just gets down. There's a little bit of a trade of it down there. They pick up Ali, but Q is able to get a huge kill, but it's going to be cleaned up finally by Ali, the player who was down and picked back up and resurrected into that second coming. Is able to secure the frag, as pushing around that corner is going to be the smoke, and finally the aggressive play shut down there for Heavy Force. And now the switch of sides, as I've said this many times, Clubhouse, it is defender sided. So are those 2 rounds that we've seen Hydra get all they need to win this one out? Is that the only thing that they kind of need going forward? Is that just the advantage, obviously, because defenders are favored on this map? Is that the advantage, just getting those 2 rounds? Is that what they kind of want to do to be able to, what is that the, let me figure out what I want to say here, because I've said the same thing probably like 24 times here, but is that advantage of 2 rounds enough? Is that going to be able to them to kind of start this comeback already and bring it maybe to a tied game, maybe secure a draw, secure a win? If Hydra draws here, they have it's almost a 50-50 chance of them making playoffs. If they lose, they are out of playoffs. If they win, they are in playoffs. So, again, the stakes are extremely high. If I'm Hydra right now, I need to win this game. I cannot settle for a draw. They need to start winning this on defense. Yes, it's defender-sided, but we've seen Heavy Force. They're confident right now. Bring out the Cav, bring out the Alibi, bring out the Tachanka. People call it disrespectful, but it's also a little bit of a mind game here from Heavy Force. Definitely throwing Hydra off, and sometimes getting the other team angry is a difference between winning and losing a game. Because, well, either you're going to see Hydra get angry and then they just start going crazy and start winning rounds in a blink of an eye, or you start seeing them get in their heads, start yelling at their teammates, and the entire just chemistry and everything that holds that Hydra team together could slowly fall apart. So Heavy Force, you could look at their style of play and say it's stupid and it's toxic, but there's something behind it. There's a reason why they're aggressive. There's a reason why they've talked in chat. They're trying to play into Hydra's weaknesses right now. They're trying to get every advantage they can get, and obviously by the round count, it is working. What? As Ali just confused exactly where he wants to place his actually, no, my fault. He actually wanted to, I think, place that under the trapdoor. He looked like he was just confused and decided to toss it right at the top of the thing. I don't know. As a shot's going to be riddling out here, trying to stop that thermite charge, but thermite is going to be able to open it up here into construction. It looks like there's nobody in construction to contest this except the smoke. Actually, it is going to be the Legion and the smoke here, as Hitman is just going to be waiting for that sound cue if the thermite decides to push. So it looks like the thermite is not going to do that, as Hitman is going to be safe and merry in that. As a shot's actually going to be riddled out from Q. I have no idea where he was. It's like going to be watching the top from the kitchen hatch. I have no idea how is that not called out. There needs to be communication on that. If the hatch is open, do not run into the crosshairs. That is an easy way to give up your life. And unfortunately, being on the receiving end of a major miscommunication error on the side of Hydra. We're going to be seeing Pulse in sight. That is something not very untypical, especially on the map of Clubhouse, as a grenade is going to be coming out that's going to try to open up the wall here for the thermite, as he's just trying to get rid of as much utility as possible with those stuns. It is going to get rid of that utility. He's going to try to also get rid of that barbed wire, but with 1 minute left, you're expecting this push to come out, but Gavin's able to get a huge kill. That's going to be immediately traded back, but it's going to be immediately traded back by Geo. That's going to be one traded back as Geo gets two, and now it's going to be all up to Q, but Hitman is right there with the SMG-11 and the newly gifted SMG-11. Actually, no, that is on smoke. The very, I guess, original SMG-11. Able to clean up that round, and Bean continuing the chat, making sure that that round was... Actually, no, he's just making sure his L and O keys are working. Maybe he has those as a keybind, and unfortunately, just can't quite stop typing that in chat. Don't know why, but lots of tension, I think, building between these players, as should have some talk back and forth, but that's what opens the door for very entertaining play, as now it's 4-3 here. Hydra so close to tying this up. This could be huge for them. Like I said, they are on defense on Clubhouse, so much more favored. As I do apologize, I am not joined by a co-caster right now, so if I tend to maybe veer off my points or stumble over my words, I apologize, but trying to continue talking can sometimes get very, very difficult, as well as the fact I tend to get distracted pretty easily. So we're going to be seeing that Docket 6 picked off for the Valkyrie, as Finka being played here from Heavy Force is a very interesting operator pick. She's extremely unviable in competitive play. A lot of competitive players really don't like her recoil changes because, well, all the competitive players most likely know the recoil patterns and know how to control the guns they use and the operators they use. But they also say they're so used to the recoil patterns that once that Finka is activated, they pull down too much. So it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit of an odd pick there from Pixelated, as just kind of going with that Finka choice. Not really viable in competitive play, but obviously this Heavy Force side maybe just want that extra health when they want to be in having an aggressive push and just getting into the face of the other team. I think that's more the reason why. I think it's more the health idea rather than the recoil support. So we are definitely going to be seeing this set up for a garage push or a upstairs B push from the balcony, as everybody from this attacking side has spawned on that east side, just getting prepared, except Pixelated, as he is just crouching his way downstairs through the construction site, looking maybe to go up from the bottom here and just throw off this team and just trying to maybe get some downstairs presence, just clean out the roamers, as Minty is going to be clearing out the roamers in the gym bedroom logistics side of things. As yes, this is definitely setting up to look as if it is a east side push, as I couldn't quite get my words out, as Geo unfortunately shooting the head of Beam, but he's going to be able to bring it back and get the trade off to Shafkin. Gavin able to trade back, making a 3v3. Could potentially get another one. That's Q, though, going to be on the winning end of that one. That's going to be just a 2-on-3 already with 2 minutes left. Minty able to get a huge kill, and it's going to be all up to the smoke now. Lots of entry denial, but with so much time left, that could easily be the quickest round we have seen in quite a while, as the again, players making sure that L and O key works. Once again, they're at the end of the round as 14 kills. You see Q at the top of the leaderboard there, but Heavy Force getting a very convincing round there, as kind of shutting down any confidence that Hydra had and just making sure that they know they're not going to be tying this game anytime soon or anytime in the next 2 rounds. So we are going to be seeing the Pixelate. Oh, Pixelate is not going to be going for that Monty. Probably going to 6-pick from the Finka to the Monty. As actually no going to be going to the Dokkaebi. As what we're seeing here from Heavy Force, the reason why I think a lot of operator changes late in the round counts is I think there's a little bit of a maybe miscommunication going on. Because once you start to see operators change super quickly and like back and forth, and it seems as if the teams are rushing, there's a little bit of a miscommunication. There's a little bit of miscommunication or just maybe lack of organization, because what we probably saw there from Pixelate, he said, I want to go Matsi, and then they're like, no, let's do this push, and then he went Finka, and he said, no, let's do this push, or let's do that, and most of the time when you see those operators get switched off very frequently or switched off very fast, it either means there's a lack of confidence in playing that operator, or there's just a lack of organization in exactly the strat you want to do. And maybe that's something Hydra need to capitalize on here. They need to out-strat this Heavy Force side, because right now we're seeing Hydra start trying to kind of fight this fire with fire. Aggressive play against aggressive play. And I say this all the time, but when tempted with fighting fire with fire, you gotta remember the fire department, they use water. So maybe aggressive play against aggressive play isn't the move here for Hydra. And yes, we've seen glimpses of them kind of slowing things down, and they haven't been nearly as aggressive as Heavy Force, but maybe just out-stratting this Heavy Force team could be what brings Hydra back into this game, because there's definitely a little bit of maybe some miscommunication or just lack of organization from these Hydra players, which is evident solely due to the fact that operators have been switched off so frequently and so quickly and things like that. So it looks like Doggo is actually going to be able to open up the wall quite immediately, as Ali, I just said don't fight fire with fire, and what do you do? Exactly that. Trying to push aggressively onto Doggo, and it looks like Doggo might be typing something as he just sits there. He is not. That would have been interesting if we saw something come out from him. But very, very unfortunate play there from Ali, losing a body that quickly on, as well as the fact not being able to do your job on that east wall is a major loss for this defensive team. And in a game so important, you cannot be making mistakes like that. Gavin, though, is able to get the trade. That's going to be Pixelated down off of the board. And Pixelated has been an absolute gunner, and there's going to be also no more phone calls. So that is a huge kill for this defensive team. Maestro securing the frag there. We are going to be seeing, again, just having that wall open puts a lot of pressure on this defense. It just cuts off rotates, and it forces everybody into extremely uncomfortable positions. Hitman, though, has not been cleared out of this garage balcony area, and it looks like nobody is actually going to push him. So him being in this area, and just as I say that, Q able to get the kill from the Habana hold that Shav made. He's able to take down the smoke, and that's going to be a huge operator off the board. No entry denial, no plant denial left. Yes, you have the Maestro cams to zap away, but that is not going to do much, especially in the late round when you need Maestro's gun. Being now sitting as the Habana is actually just going to be rushing in. Finally, Doggo, actually it's going to be Geo able to get the kill. Minty, though, is able to get a kill right after, and Geo right there to trade it back, making it a 2v2, and it's just a game of trades. Able to take down that Maestro cam, though. Doggo able to get a kill onto Geo, and it's going to be all up to Gavin. Just like I said, you need his gun in the late rounds, because he cannot use his cameras. He's going to be left in a clutch position, and the plant is going to be placed down. Thermite's just going to be going for the peak, is going to be just shut down. And it's going to be all up to Q. Q has proven himself multiple times today on exactly why he could be easily regarded as one of the better gunners in the league. And we could see it evident once again here. Gavin is he up to the task? The gun definitely in favor here of the Thatcher, as well as the scenario, as he's going to go around for the peek and just has no idea where he is. And Q able to secure a huge round for Hydra. My fault, not for Hydra, but for Heavy Force. And just like that, securing the draw and diminishing Hydra's hopes at playoffs down to 50%. Match point here. Hydra, if they lose it, they are out. They need 3 consecutive rounds. Pixelated, well, going on to the Lion. Well, that's not allowed. As he's looks, nope, it looks like he's just toying with me now. Maybe it's not an evidence of miscommunication. Maybe he just wants to mess with the casters right now, as he's just going to be flipping operators back and forth, just not knowing exactly what he wants to bring, as Finka is going to be finally the operator of choice. And it's going to be match point here for this Heavy Force side. There's so much pressure on this Hydra team. And like I said all the time, pressure shapes legends, and they need to step up to the plate right now. Hydra, everything that they have worked for during this regular season could easily go crumbling down if they lose this one out. Playoffs could be out of the window if they lose this one out. Remember, this is the last regular season match of RCR6, and Hydra need to win it if they want to make playoffs. And what's super unfortunate is Hydra in a best of 3 situation are extremely good, similar to Cloud9 when they first got into the comp scene. Anytime there's a best of 3, you'd probably favor Cloud9, but once it turns to best of 1, they tend to struggle. And that's a little bit unfortunate for Hydra, because we won't be able to see them in the playoffs in a best of 3 situation if they lose it out here, as well as the fact we won't be able to see them on the common maps like Coastline, like Clubhouse, which we are seeing right now, and they've been kind of shut down so far, which is surprising. But they won't be on Coastline, and they won't be on Border again if they lose it out here. So it's not looking good for them, and it's a little bit unfortunate, because I know there's a lot more under the hood of the car that is Hydra. It's just they haven't really turned it on, and they haven't really put the key in ignition correctly, and all that's really playing is the radio, and that's not really going to cut it. As I know I said Cloud9, but they were known as Cloud9 when they struggled with the what's it called? No, you just got thrown off. They struggled as Cloud9 when they first came in. When Cloud9 first came in, they struggled in best but when they tried to reciprocity, they've definitely been a lot better. As shot to out on the Legion has no idea where he is going. As he's gonna be sitting here, just waiting as the Q here, and just obviously we've seen Q, probably one of the more dangerous players so far in this matchup, has been definitely a force to be reckoned with, and just keeping an eye on him, as he's just kind of a big play waiting to happen. As we all, I realize my voice is actually, I'm hoping that I don't miss much, because I apologize for that, guys. I just looked over at my mic and I realized it was doing the stutter, so I hope this has all fixed it, as I apologize. Obviously, with the delay, I see that you guys are probably going to be seeing it later, but I hope I fixed it in time. I hope it wasn't there for a very long time, but Pixelate able to get a huge kill. That's going to be Q as well, and it looks like the chances are slowly diminishing, but it's going to be immediately traded out as Bean goes absolutely nuclear, able to get 2 huge frags. It's going to be Thermite and the IQ down, and the diffuser down as well. And Gavin going to be trying to contest that construction push. Unfortunately, going to be on the losing end of that gunfight, as Hibana not even taking a bullet. Hibana has actually pushed in. It's going to be able to find the head of Gavin, and it's going to be all up to the sub of Bean, keeping the playoffs hopes alive. The Hydra's playoffs hopes alive. Now we are just sitting here waiting for something to happen. Pixelated is going to be joining him out. Unfortunately, didn't even see him. But Bean, what are you doing? He didn't see you. And Q shuts down Hydra. And unfortunately, that is the last time we are going to be seeing Hydra in RCR6, as playoffs are just around the corner. And unfortunately, Well, Hydra didn't make the cut. Heavy Force, the winners of today's matchup, definitely not the favorites. And that was interesting. Q dropping 18 kills. So close to breaking the record for RCR6. I remember one time, I think it was Naled in Season 1, dropped 22. Obviously, that was in a much longer match because there was overtime, but we are going to keep the rules relatively the same. So Naled still holding that record. But nonetheless, Heavy Force, definitely not the favorites coming into this matchup, able to secure the win, and in a pretty convincing fashion, as Hydra definitely have to be going back to the drawing board for maybe a couple other leagues, but unfortunately, because it's not going to be a Season 3, they can't really figure out exactly what they did wrong for this season, as fortunately, they are most likely out of the playoffs. And if you guys are asking, obviously, it's a little bit confusing exactly what the standings look like. If you're asking how exactly the playoffs are going to look like, make sure you guys stay tuned for into the Discord and into the Twitter, as the playoff picture is going to be posted very, very shortly. I think it will be at Monday night, and you guys just make sure you pay attention to that. But that's going to be it from us today, as I do apologize. There was a couple technical difficulties, and I also apologize because I didn't have a co-caster. That was just a little bit difficult to kind of get some things out. But I actually just saw the chat about me calling the team Cloud9 and saying I'm a silver caster. I called them Cloud9 because when they struggled with best of ones, they were under the Cloud9 org. And when they started getting better at best of threes and also best of ones, that's when they changed to reciprocity. So I know Cloud9 doesn't exist anymore in Siege, but when they did, they struggled with best of ones. So that's why I said that. Just saying. But that's going to be it from us today. That's the very last regular season matchup of RCR6. It has been an absolute journey with all of you guys, and I really appreciate everybody and everything you guys have done. You guys have made this community absolutely amazing, and just everything that's gone into this has been an absolute blast, and I really appreciate it. But we're not done yet. Obviously, playoffs are just around the corner, and that's when I'll give my final farewell speech, when we crown the champions of RCR6 Season 2. That's when we'll say our farewells and goodbyes. But for now, let's just say our farewells and goodbyes to, I guess, the regular season of RCR6, because it has come to a close. But thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And I also apologize for the technical difficulties and any other difficulties that arose. I think it's arose. But thanks so much. Really appreciate it. And that's going to be it from us today. Unfortunately, no interview. Actually, it looks like they do want an interview, potentially. So might be able to come back with an interview. I don't know. As we could see, I did message them, and it looks like they didn't get back. Actually, no, yes, they did get back. They do want an interview, so I will be right back. I will set that up, so stay tuned, and we'll be seeing exactly what was going through the mind of the Heavy Force players. As I can't find there it is. Never mind. I can't do an interview because my Discord is not working. So I am not connected to the servers apparently, and I realized that that's the reason why I couldn't have a co-caster, because I couldn't connect to the servers. So there is no interview. I apologize for that, but for some reason in my region, I can't connect to the Discord servers. So there's unfortunately no interview. I'm going to try to message the players as soon as possible to let them know that I can't do it. I can text, I can chat, but I'm not going to have a chat interview. I can't connect my voice. I don't know if any of you guys know how to fix that, where it says just awaiting endpoint for ages on top of ages, but unfortunately, that is kind of my issue right now. So sorry about that, but that is going to be the end here of RCR6 regular season. Heavy Force seeking out the win. And I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Fortunately, no interview. We can't see what was going through the head of those Heavy Force players, but maybe we can talk to them during the little break before playoffs, because they kind of came into this matchup. They didn't really have a chance at making playoffs, but they still played their out of their absolute minds and were extremely entertaining. So maybe we can get a off-screen interview, and I can post it to the Twitter and see maybe what the Heavy Force players were thinking. So stay tuned for that. Maybe not, but make sure you vote for your MVP on the Twitter. Make sure you stay tuned in the Discord for the playoff picture, as well as on the Twitter for the playoff picture. But thanks so much. See ya.